finance the production and distribution.
Okay. I modeled it pretty well. It took about half an hour of mixing to really get something where I was pretty proficient. And, from start to finish would be about half an hour. Once the ingredients are all arranged and I've got the right tools in place, basically, because this is a no-bake bar. This is just assembling and putting it in the refrigerator to have it cool. And I guess the cooling process makes it coagulate a little bit.
In terms of the equipment, Steve, sorry to...
Yeah, go ahead.
But in terms of equipment, would the average household have whatever would be needed to produce this? With the grinding of the nuts, is that something that people would have, or could they buy, already ground up nut flour?
I was just thinking of a blender. I just used a blender.
Yeah, but I'm not familiar, obviously, with the domestic market. With a typical household or someone who might be in the production end, would they likely have a blender or some way? I guess they could probably just, with a rolling pin, they could basically crush nuts.
Yeah, that's true. That was another way of making the blending. That's true. It could have been a little hammer. They have little hammers and wood. Little wooden hammers to crush the nuts. That's another model.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of that.
Yeah. Excellent.
And so as far as who might do it, I would imagine that you would have lower quality brain bars being put out with the same name. And, it would be an indigenous sort of uprising, so to speak. You'd obviously, this would be school-driven, that's what I was thinking, or parent-driven and then individual teacher-driven. The teacher would basically say, this is what I'm having for a snack today. I have one for each of you up here, here's a little piece for you to try, and if you like it, there's a big piece for you over on the table, something like that. Because I've found that taking something like a protein bar, even something that's commercially accessible, I'm trying to think, like not Tiger's Milk, but is it called a Power Bar here in the U.S.? Yeah. I've taken Power Bars into urban schools, and it's the first time that some of these kids have eaten something like that. And I made the mistake of handing a kid half of the Power Bar. He took a little bit of a taste, spit it out onto the Power Bar, and threw the whole thing out. So I lost an entire half of a Power Bar. Now, those things are at least $1.50, so there's 75 cents in the toilet, right? So I now do it differently. I take a small slice that if you sliced off your smallest fingernail, half of that size, just for them to taste it. And then after they've said yuck, I go through the whole routine of, this is omega-3s, and what you're eating is something good for your brain, and about half of them then want the rest of it. And so then they get a piece that's about as big as a postage stamp. And so the next time maybe they get 2 postage stamps. And, it sort of graduates until they're eating half a bar, that kind of thing. But it's a process of I've really got to figure out what the costs are, because I'm thinking if I'm paying like $1.50 for a typical protein bar, the Havana Brain Builder bar might be coming in at 50 cents because I'm just taking half of it as oatmeal.
Yeah.
So that's got to be low cost. That's got to be low cost.
Yeah.
So if I don't...
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, I have no idea, and obviously you're learning a lot more about the local economy and how people